Hello, fellow Crusaders, and welcome to our latest episode. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today I'm doing a solo review. Brian is not with me for this one, of Super Mario Galaxy, the sequel to the big hit of the Super Mario Brothers movie, which came out a couple years ago. Now, anyone who is definitely my age has probably played Mario on the NES or Super Nintendo and 64. Name a Nintendo console you've played Mario. I would say I was a fan of the first film. I do think a lot of people's complaints about the first film, if there was any, was that the story was very simple and there wasn't a lot to it. And I always came up with the option of it's a Super Mario movie. They just need to show that they could actually do it. They didn't have to have this overarching story, this over amazing story. Just tell a simplistic story that sets up the Super Mario Brothers and the characters and everything like that. And I felt that the first film did that. The voice cast, I thought was really great in that one, even though I hated the Peaches song. I'm in the minority on that. But I actually really enjoyed the first one for what it was. I thought Chris Pratt did a good job as Mario. I thought Charlie Day was great as Luigi, Jack Black, Anya Taylor-Joy, Keegan-Michael Key. I thought all of them were great in the original. So going into Super Mario Galaxy, I was still pretty amped up and excited, mainly because we were getting the addition to my favorite character, which was Yoshi, also voiced by one of my favorite actors, Donald Glover, even though you would never know because he basically just does Yoshi the whole time, and you really don't need Donald Glover to do that voice the whole time. But there's other things that are happening in the movie and other cameos that are happening in the film that made me excited for this. But I was excited to see where we were going to go with the story, where we were going to go with the Mario Brothers, outside of the, like I said, simplistic but effective story of the very first film. Super Mario Galaxy basically is, I don't think they say how long it's been since the first film, but Bowser is still small. He's still being held captive by Mario, Luigi, and Peach in the Mushroom Kingdom. But we are now introduced to his son, Bowser Jr., who is on a crusade to try and save his father, Bowser, by kidnapping Princess Rosalina, who is voiced by Brie Larson, who has enormous amount of power, and he wants to use her power to basically take over the universe and also save his father in the process. And then, of course, you got the overarching storyline of Mario having feelings for Peach and trying to go off there. There's actually quite a bit of storylines in this one, which I think is a detriment to Super Mario this time around, whereas the first film was very simplistic. You had, the fish out of water storyline with Mario and Luigi, and then, Luigi always being scared and Mario always being there for him and him not being able to be there for him at this moment. And then, of course, the Bowser storyline. This one, there was at one point, I think halfway through the film, where I'm like, there's like 6 or 7 plot lines going on right now. And I don't know if a single one of them is effectively working. There's some that are like solid, but none that are actually kind of taking the forefront to the story. Mario's got his plot point with him crushing on Peach. Luigi is just kind of there. Peach has this overarching storyline where she's trying to find out where she came from, since she was just found as a baby by the Toads in Mushroom Kingdom, and she wants to know where she came from. Bowser obviously has his arc where he's trying to not be a villain and trying to be a good guy. Then you got Bowser Jr. trying to basically save his father. Then you got Princess Rosalina and her arcing storyline, and then you got Yoshi. And there's just too much going on in this movie, and I kind of wish they would have done kind of what they did with the first film, which was keep it simple, keep it not basic, but just there was so many storylines going on in this movie that I felt like they could have made 2 or 3 more movies to spread it out. There's nothing in it that's actively bad in this film. It still obviously looks gorgeous. There's so many beautiful, beautiful scenes. There's one scene in the third act with Peach and Mario doing a action set piece that intertwines the current animation with the Nintendo 2D animation, which is one of my favorite moments of the year. It's amazing to look at. And there are a lot of fun moments to be had. Luckily, there is no Jack Black song in this one, which is going to either piss off people or make them happy, which it made me happy. There is cutesy characters and cutesy moments in here, but nothing to the extent of like the Minions or anything where it's overtly annoying. I think every character is fine in the film, but there is no outright character that is like a favorite. I mean, obviously, I love Yoshi. I was excited to see Yoshi. But outside of like the first 5-10 minutes, Yoshi is there all the time, but there's not really a whole lot to his character outside of just being kind of like the dinosaur dog to Mario and Luigi. Even Mario and Luigi, they don't really have, I mean, they have the journey of they have to go and do this, plot point, but to their characters, there's not really a whole lot of build between the characters of the brothers outside that they're just Mario and Luigi and they save the day. I would say the most character growth, if there is, in this film is between Princess Peach's, or Anya Taylor-Joy's Princess Peach, and of course Jack Black's Bowser, as they have kind of, I guess, the most character arc. If you want to give them into the story, which you either are going to care about it or you don't care about it. I will say the addition, and this is not a spoiler because he's all over the marketing, he's on posters now. The addition of Star Fox, which is a character that I love. I played the hell out of Star Fox when I was a kid. And when I saw that he was going to be in this, I was super, super excited because maybe we'll get a spin-off movie with Star Fox and his friends. And I still hope they do that. But Star Fox is really not needed in this film. He was really forced in. And to the point where it almost felt like Mario, the whole movie was kind of trying to do a Star Wars thing by making Star Fox Han Solo. There's another character, Wart, who's basically kind of almost acting like a Jabba the Hutt and in Tatooine, like kind of situation where it felt like the movie, like I was excited to see Star Fox, who's also voiced by someone that I love in Glenn Powell, but it did also feel like the movie kind of halted, and it wasn't that I lost interest, but I started to get bored because I felt like the movie was just kind of trying to drop as many Easter egg cameos at that one point, to the point where you would want to pause it. So you go, oh, there's that villain and that villain and that villain. And it kind of lost sight of the story. Now, when they get to the inevitable third act, it does find its focus again, and it does actually have a very solid finale that makes me go, I'm not as excited to see a third one. We know we're going to get a third one and probably a fourth and a fifth and a sixth. But I'm still going to be there for the journey of this because I do enjoy the Mario Brothers films. This one just felt a little too ambitious, a little too overstuffed, and a little too overcrowded that I feel like they could have maybe pulled back a little bit more and done, less. And I think it still would have been just as effective. I mean, this movie's going to make $1 billion probably again. And I know, it doesn't matter what I say. You guys are going to go see it or not see it. That's entirely up to you. But I will say in terms of between this one and the first one, I did enjoy the first one more because I felt like while it was a simpler story, I felt like the character beats and the journey that these characters went on was more effective and efficient than it was in this one. Also, certain characters' voices kind of felt like they were meshing together. Keegan-Michael Key's Toad sounded more like Charlie Day. Glenn Powell, who I love, honestly, sounded like Seth Green's Howard the Duck trying to do Star Fox. Star Fox was super cool in the movie, by the way. It's just that it was an unnecessary cameo, and while I did enjoy the scenes he was in, you could have probably taken him out of the movie. The movie probably still been able to do what it did. I do hope Star Fox does get his own film. I do want to see Star Fox with his buddies and his characters, but he's just not needed in this alone. Also, if you guys are fans of Donkey Kong, like I was in the first film with Seth Rogen, he's in a blink and you'll miss him moment, but he is not in the film, which was a huge bummer because I was hoping we got more Donkey Kong and maybe even Diddy Kong, but we did not get that this time around. Maybe we'll get a Donkey Kong movie. I'd be totally cool with that. But for me, like I said, visually, everything looks amazing. There was never a part where I was like, that didn't look good. Everything looked fantastic in this film. There's so many beautiful shots throughout this. The voice cast, outside of like a couple that maybe sounded like other actors, I think they're all solid. There's some fun moments. There's some funny moments here and there. I felt like the story was just too ambitious, too overstuffed, too overcrowded, that it lost focus, especially in the middle of the film, but it did find its footing by the end. Not as strong as the first one, but it's still an enjoyable, fun film. And I think if you're a fan of Mario and the Nintendo Galaxy, that you will have fun watching this. It's not overly annoying to the point like a Minions movie where it's like, yeah, you take your kids to it, but God, I can't wait for this movie to end. I think you guys will, for the most part, at any age, enjoy it for what it is. Even if you just thought the first one was kind of basic, maybe this one being overtly I wouldn't say complex, but maybe overly stuffed, this one might speak to you guys a little bit more than the first one did. I think it did the opposite for me. But overall, I'm going to give Super Mario Galaxy a 3.5. I think it's a solid film. It's not something that I won't watch again. I'll definitely watch it again. But I don't think it quite matched my expectations and happiness of the first film. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go and hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos pop up on the Movie Crusaders. Of course, you have to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Like I've been saying on a lot of our videos now, we are also now on Spotify, Amazon, Apple. So if you guys can't watch me or Brian on camera, you guys can always listen to us and get all the information you need right from there. Coming up next, there were a couple movies that came out this weekend, The Drama and Pizza Movie. I don't know if any of them are going to get worthwhile reviews, so I don't know if we're going to have anything for that. Looks like the next big film that Brian and I might be back to talk about, honestly, probably won't be until maybe Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I doubt it. Or maybe Michael at the end of the month. Or we might not see us again until the end of the month when we come back for the big summer movie preview, which we'll go over all the movies coming out this summer, as well as give our summer box office predictions on how we think everything's going to shape up with the box office. Obviously, Mario came out in April, so it will not be a part of that prediction, but it will definitely be a big box office hit probably throughout the whole entire summer. But I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And until next time, in case I don't see you, go watch some movies and go have some fun.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.